Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a wonderful Monday. A marvelous Monday. Happy Monday, everybody, says Georgia Peach, and I couldn't agree more. We have a lot in store today. It's going to be a good one. Everybody, buckle up. Jill's out there moderating away. Thank you, Jill. We appreciate you. Ms. Pit Cafe, D. Bud Martin, all of y'all. You're incredible. Juliet's out there across the pond modding away. And all of you do so much for me, even with good suggestions like polling to find out if people want to do high rollers a different time. We'll look it up. Got my Pulp Fiction Big Kahuna Burger t-shirt. That's good to know. Sort of Poopus Cuber in the house, our favorite polar bar. JPRPH1, what's going on? Hopefully you guys got a chance to see Spider-Man. Brand new day. If not, it's worth seeing. Thank you, Ruby Hoop, for gifting a Culture Casino membership. I hope all is well, and I hope Hoop feels better. Who else is out there? Jan Monroe. Does it sound bizarre to anybody else that someone's going to a morning show on a Monday? Well, I'm here. Keely Chow, roll tide, brother. Hope you're doing well. Hoot! Back to my coffee. That's right. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. It's already deep into August. Okay, it's only the 3rd. But still, it's deep into August. And we're already started in a new month. We're closing in on the end of the year incredibly quickly. Where did the time go? Goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. Just want to say one more shout out to Ms. Pig Cafe. Maybe we'll put a poll up. Well, maybe we'll find out what people think about the high roller stream. Jan Monroe. Kids go back on the 13th. Actually, some kids already went back today. It's weird. Remember when summer was actually summer? And it was 3 months long, not 2? That's what we're looking at with the school year. Why? So they can have a lot of more teacher in-service days and some odd holidays at odd times, which I think are undeserved. Corporeal beings out there. Good to see you. Corp, we got a few other folks, like the beautiful Deeple over on the Green Machine. And, yeah, everybody's kind of rolling in. Walter Tomaszewski's out there. OT, why not? STTOS, TNG, DS9, or E, not considered woke. Well, it wasn't at the time. Why isn't Princess Leia considered to be a girl boss? Because she's not. You kind of get a little bit more depth of personality with her. But again, she's a princess from the very beginning. Then she became a senator. Oh, goodness. Anyway, it's so good to see everybody. I hope you guys are good. Canol's out there. Good to see you. Thanks, Canol's. We got Carl Singh. Carl's already seen the video today. If you haven't seen today's video on the box office, don't miss it. Spend some time on it. I got another video already in production that I'm going to take another pass at edit-wise, so you guys will get that while I am traveling. Cloud Sailing in the house. What's up, Cloud? And we got a few other folks like Smiths and Sons. I'm fantastic. God bless you as well. Once again, thank you, Ruby Hoo, for the gifted membership. Theliato says, hey-o. That's right. And Eric C., good morning. I need to get a hold of some people because my traveling plans may be fluid. Frank's here, though. Hey, Frank. What's up? Got a few other folks popping through the door. D. Heartline. Hey, D. Thanks for the comment the other day on the video. I got a chance to see that. Appreciate it. We got a few other folks like WJB Daily. Good morning, Culture and Culturians. That's right. The lovely Penny is out there as well. That's right. Maybe send the high roller an email to ask them. You know what? That's not a bad idea. I actually have a lot of their emails. I should do that. Max London. Good to see you, dear. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. Smiths & Sons just became a member voluntarily, helping the channel get more quickly to 1,000 members, which means it is self-sustaining at that point. And then there won't be any more cash out of pocket for me. It'll be good times. Double back again. Nate! Yo! What's going on, double back again? And of course, Ham the Third. Hello. Let's see, who else popped in? Got a lot of people. Option Trader, 1776. Morning, all. Morning. Snakes! I'm listening and doing stuff. That's working and larking, pal. Good to see you, Snakes. Ah, the lovely Julia. Look at all these people working so hard to make sure that if I make a mistake, I don't get in trouble. What's going on? We got a member chat from GJ Jensen. Celebrating 8 months of membership. Well, congratulations. Thanks for being here. And congratulations to Spider-Man. Brand new day. As we start the 6-minute preview, that's right. It nearly topples Avengers Endgame. It's 357 million. By the time the revisions come through today, I think it will. I think we're already sitting at maybe 360. And they don't want to tell us because they don't want to admit that Spider-Man toppled all of the Avengers by his own self. And I think that's actually what happened. But anyway, this is the story we have to work with from yesterday. And, of course, I recorded the box office video yesterday. You can watch that today. It's over and already up on the channel. We got Wonder Man, though, as we talked about on Friday, already canceled. They'd signed contracts that were ready to go. They scheduled everything. And then the Marvel series was then canceled. It's not a marketing stunt. This is what the star, what's-his-name, wanted to make clear to everybody. They're not marketing this. This is a done deal. It's over. The show was toasty. And you know what? Didn't do very well. Nobody watched it. And then everybody decided to go with a take that was like, hey, racism. And I'm like, hey, moneyism. If something's not making money, if something's not drawing attention to your terrible streaming service, then you can't afford to make it. Wonder Man, Abdul-Mateen reacts to the Marvel series saying, we're going to see it at the Emmys anyway. Okay, well, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. North American box office record, a $429 million weekend from all films. That's right, we're going to talk about that on Midnight Edge in the morning later today. I'll be over there. Hopefully you will be too. And then I'll be popping over to the Pro show, which is actually that Park Place live right after that. We've got Barbie sequel stalled because David Zaslav won't approve bigger salaries for Gosling and Robbie. Uh-oh. This film may not get made. Wonder if they'll do 20 against 20 like they did for Nolan. Huh. You got Spider-Man Brand New Day soaring to 355, second biggest opening weekend ever. And really essentially going to swing past, I think, Avengers Endgame. This film is headed for $2 billion, as somebody said this morning on the video comments for today's video. With Universal becoming the first studio to conquer $4 billion plus at the global box office year to date, Odyssey's heading for $1 billion global. And you know what? It'll get there. But in all-in-one weekend, Spider-Man Brand New Day passed the Odyssey. Boom. See ya. Already passed it on its way to $1 billion. It'll get there sooner. We got toy maker Hasbro reimagining everything as Spider-Man. I wonder why. Maybe that's because the graphics and the gameplay don't change all that much for Connect 4 or Guess Who or any of the other things. But you know what? Spider-Man's a very popular character. I have a feeling people are going to get into this one. We got Nancy Guthrie case haunted by the Sheriff's Department, making a ton of mistakes from the very beginning. By the way, Tucson, Arizona has a ton of flock cameras. Ask yourself this. Where's all the flock camera footage of that night? Huh? Especially in the Highlands area, in the foothills. Huh? It's not like they don't know who this is, right? Right? Anyway, Vin Diesel calls Fast Forever the best script he's read in decades. I'm still crying. He's probably not crying. But he may like the script. Probably no doubt there. I'll just say it. Vin Diesel's not exactly the best judge of things. So, we're going to take his word for it, or are we just going to hope that the next Fast and Furious is good? Moving on, Variety says, hey, Spider-Man leaked online. Well, so did the Odyssey and every other film ever. This story is quite garbage, and I saw another link to Spider-Man last night when I was scrolling through X. This always happens. Stop whining. Stop complaining. People are going to see the movie anyway. Look at it. Look at it. Gavin Newsom says, don't look at me, though. I'm going to get out of this antitrust suit if I can, because it's going to cost us jobs in the long run, and they doesn't want them looking too much into a salary of 1 point something to $2 million every year that is coming out of nowhere. Weird. We've got flight attendants at Canada's WestJet going on strike over dispute over pay. Oh boy, that's not good. Canada doesn't need more trouble. You got Iraq and Turkey striking a one-year deal on an oil pipeline to boost exports during the ongoing Hormuz closures. On the news that maybe, just maybe, for the 7th time, they've solved that issue. We'll see soon enough. An oil leak is spreading from a sanctioned tanker off Oman because it can't travel or unload its oil. Well, this stuff happens, especially when you start firing missiles and stuff at each other. Not smart. And finally, as far as real news goes, tax returns show that California's Newsom is earning between $1.7 and $2 million annually. How? Isn't he the governor? That's a big check. I didn't think governors made that much money. And finally, the bear story. That's right. Fisherman remains incredibly calm as a grizzly bear fishes behind him. Take a look at this video. Hello, bear. Doesn't look like Chris Pratt. There's a grizzly. It's not like he doesn't notice the fisherman. Hey, he got the fish. Look at the grizzly eating a fish. There's more than one. Holy cow. The guy stayed chill. That was amazing. I hope you got to see it. All right, folks. Folks and friends, thanks for being here for the 6 Minute Daily. We truly appreciate you. We're going to move into the credits scene, which is 3 minutes of pure joy for me, because it features you. Those of you who are members of the channel. Now, I am going to be revising this next weekend. That means anybody who's a member right now and stays a member, and anybody who's a member as of Saturday, this coming Saturday, they will be featured in the credits video, which eventually the names are going to start popping up here in a second. Deeple spent most of the the weekend at work. I'm sorry about that, Deeple. Super suck. But these people are amazing. Caveat ties. Lots of people here. Sandy. You got Fixie Fluffpaw out there. Look at all these great people. What a great song. That I'm going to change because Six doesn't like it. Guys, Six doesn't like the song. So we got to change it. Would it matter then? All right. Anyway, Matt Murphy's out there. Brazil. Corey Grosslight. Melvin Romero. Joe's Atmosphere. Pray for Joe and his family. Brent Ferguson. Not a doctor. Good to see you. And Killian. Hello. Grungehead. Hey, what's up? Look at all these great people. Lurk. Barry the Music Man. He's in the chat right now. Some dude. Sis and Giggles, Linda F. Look at these wonderful people out there. Jeff Smith, Dan Funk, I know that guy, and Cajun Child, Ironcaster, my grandchild apparently. I don't know. It's an interesting story there. That's the thing about the lore of the tube. Where did you come from? Who was your progenitor? I've been a lot of progenitors apparently. I don't know. Anyway. Spider-Man is headed to IMAX. You know what? You broke the news. I'm going to break in just a minute. Thank you, Eugene. We'll get there. I promise. That's right. According to Global Box Office, Spider-Man Brand New Day has become the biggest domestic opening weekend of all time. There it is! Ha ha ha! That's what I said. They're hiding the numbers from us. We already know it beat out Avengers Endgame. We knew it would be wrong. We knew they'd be wrong. They're always wrong. Clock. Let's see if anybody else updated their numbers yet. Nope. They're still chicken. Doesn't matter. Almost $1 billion in one weekend, guys. Huge numbers. I want to say thanks to all these great people like Lee Kindler, Eric K., Rugo Betta, Brian McCann, and Mac Dalu. Radioactive. Look at these names. Catzilla. Punkwaddle. Karen Prime. Eric Winberg. Glinzer. And then, of course, the gold members. Look at all these great people. Sean Estep, Texas 84. Tony Piacente. Jim Watari. Big Daddy MRI. Haven't seen Big Daddy in a minute. High Rollers, of course, 6. Morgan King, Captain Phantom Nerd, Staccato DDX, Toxic Man Flu, Is This Live? And then all our friends we lost along the way. All right. It's good to see you all. But good news, guys. Good news. The numbers, well, the numbers are good. Brand New Day is going to hit IMAX on August 6th. Earlier than anticipated, despite the Odyssey extending to August 17th. So it'll be in direct competition in some places for showings. Interesting. And the fact that Christopher Nolan's 3 weeks are ending, the IMAX schedule is opening up. What great timing if you happen to be the webbed crusader. Can't wait. Very exciting. Yeah. And the Odyssey will continue to play across all 41 of the company's 70mm film locations around the world. And there are additional theaters that are capable of playing the 70mm, but that equipment is really old and falling apart. So just keep that in mind. In fact, let's go looking to see if we can find some other stories about Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm sure there are some refreshed stories. And the fact that it's getting bigger. It is getting bigger. In fact, the story I just told you about, let's take a look at it. We've got bonus time, so let's use it as such. So, folks, here is today's first bonus story. Spider-Man sets IMAX release date in North America. There you go. That's right. Jill Goldsmith writes this morning at 7:06 a.m., just as this show was about to start, that Sony, Marvel Studios' blockbuster Spider-Man, will open August 6th when the Odyssey's exclusive lock on the big screen exhibitor ends. Although, again, the 70mm are extending to the 17th, from what I'm to understand. Christopher Nolan Epic will continue across select locations in North America. Spider-Man Brand New Day already has the global $927 million opening at 90,000 screens worldwide. 90,000. You realize that 4,400 of those, I believe, or more than 4,400, are just in the U.S. alone? Crazy sauce. And it's just behind Endgame's reported $1.22 billion global record for an open, but the numbers are not completely in. We never get the actual numbers on Monday until this afternoon when they actually report. Everything else is just an estimate. I've been told that so many times in my life. But yeah, we've got more. We got more. Wow. And let's take a look. Let's see if we can expand the thoughts here into another story. Don't go anywhere. Let's grab the Spider-Man box office inflow real quickly. Let's switch our story in the bonus to this one. Boom shakalaka. Uh-oh, didn't fit. Let's see if we can fit it. There you go. There you go. 4,487 screens. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Don't you just love to see it as it jumps too big? There we go. 355 million officially so far, except that's not right. It's 360, which means it beat Endgame domestically. Woo-hoo-hoo. Look at these days. The preview day was a combination of Wednesday and Thursday for 72 million. That's huge. Then it was only on 3,864 screens, which it was slated for to begin with. After that, the auditorium count expanded to 4,487, which finally got reported last night. So 169.3 million when you add in the Friday and the previews, which means it made 90-something on the Friday. Saturday, 101.5 million. And then, of course, Sunday with 84.2. So far, I think that number is low. And so do you. So did my pal Valiant and Odin, because last night they did a great show. Working on a Sunday. I don't do that. But they did, and it was good for them. Let's see what you guys have to say in the balance of bonus time. If you have comments and you're watching on the replay, put them down below. We'll get to them later. Michael Mallory, what's up? Boo. Tennessee, USA in the rewind hissing. Oh, sorry about that. I just started on time. TZ Burton says, hi, Culture. Everyone. Hey, what's up, TZ? TZ's been around a long time. We got Billy Roberts out there. What's up? Saying, I love Project Hail Mary. Seen it several times. It was great. Amaze. Don't get me wrong. I love that, too. But what I do also love is that Spider-Man is doing so very well. And is going to be hitting IMAX earlier rather than later. And it's going to sell its face off in IMAX. So that's good to know. We got, like I said, we got more and more coming out about Spider-Man. And I'll tell you, I have a feeling that when these numbers finally show up officially this afternoon, it's going to do even better. How about you? What do you think? Let's see. IMAX theaters aren't that dumb. They probably had a huge drop-off the last weekend because they were still showing Odyssey instead of Spider-Man. Well, it's not a huge drop-off. As a matter of fact, when you look at the fall-off for the Odyssey, it wasn't as bad as you would suspect. It was only in the 40s. I thought it would be 50% plus, and I was wrong. In fact, I said as much in my video that I dropped this morning. Flying Blind on a rocket cycle with $1.99. Thank you, Flying Blind. Good to see you over here. Good day to you, our friend and supporter. Eric K. Culture, just thought I'd let you know barbecue sauce is done. Brisket has been on the smoker for an hour. Excellent. I will be driving in to Vegas to see everybody for the meetup, but I'll be driving in on Wednesday, meetup on Thursday, and I'll probably sometime right about the time FNT wraps, I'll be back on the road, headed back home, because I want to be home for my Friday show, and I want to be home for my Saturday. I want to be able to see you guys, do it live from my own studio. So there's that. Tobach! Aloha. That's right. Aloha, friend. So good to see you. I'm going to tell you right now, the weekend was full of nothing but just tremendous news if you are a lover of film and television. The right things are getting promoted. The wrong things are getting their teeth kicked in. And one of those things we're going to get to in another bonus time story. So don't go anywhere, guys. Bonus time is valuable, at least as far as I'm concerned. Maybe you don't like it as much as I do, but I like it. I like it a lot. Who else is out there? Tobach, let's see. We got, hey, Ariel Black. Good to see ya. I love it, too. It was so good. So good. Funny how it seems. Anyway, Mandy Masterson. That's another goodness right there. Our pal Andy. He went to the beach this weekend. Thanks for sharing, pal. That's a braggart right there. Good morning, Culture and Freds. Good morning, Andy. You going to be in Vegas, bud? Probably not, but it'd be nice to see you. Keep working out. I love the inspiration. I was working out, except I was working outside trying to get the roof put on the greenhouse. We should have that video up for all of you that are members of the channel or subscribers to the channel. That garden place, you should see the new fixed rolled polycarbonate roof back up on the greenhouse in full repair mode, ready for new planting. I am going to be taking out the old shelving in there, which I'll show you, and then I'm going to be building a new planter box in there, along with a brand new barn door, rolling door for the big door space that I have in there to take big things in and out of there. So there you go. Hey, the return of our good friend. I can't believe this. I think Jeff's out there. I see Caveat Ties. Is Jeff out there? Crazy stuff. All right. Anyway, who else is out there? Destin Daniel Kretner reveals that they shot specifically for the IMAX experience for Spider-Man Brand New Day. You know, they used a lot of those telescope cameras. So that doesn't surprise me at all. But I think they just shot for PLFs. And all of those will take that. Just gives you the biggest full frame. Mags London said, Spider-Man was so fun. So much fun. Son and I loved it. Sunday we watched Masters of the Universe on Prime. Husband couldn't believe that this movie was in cinemas. He thought it was goofy and ridiculous, and it was. It wasn't as bad as a lot of people make it out to be, but it really didn't capture the full spirit of Motu. So I understand why Tom was frustrated. Let's just say that. WJB Daily says, what's the D23 travel schedule and show schedule? Well, I will be here on the days I can be, and if I have to stream on the road, I will be doing that as well. I'm going to be doing the show Wednesday morning from the studio, and then I'll be on the road. That's this Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, that's for the Vegas thing. And then the following week, I think I'm going to do all my shows in studio until, I think, Thursday. And then Thursday may be on the road, which is going to be interesting to try to do. But we'll give it a go. There's Jeff. Thought I saw Jeff. Walter Tomaszewski says, Culture Casino OT. How much of the ranch dressing is mayonnaise? Used to be a lot more. Now you end up with a lot of vegetable oil of some sort. There's a lot of filler in ranch dressing. Look, I wouldn't buy anything off the shelf. I just make my own. It's just safer. Oh, well, it has vegetable in it. A vegetable in it to make it easier to pour, to squeeze, to spread. Nuh-uh. That's what they said about adding canola oil to butter. Screw that. It's incredibly unhealthy. It's a decent amount. I have to go look at the packaging to be fair, but I don't think I have any of that in my house. Yeah. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the movie. I know I did. Michael Mallory says, never liked Spidey much, but no one asked me. Waiting on new Batman. New Batman's coming. Yep. The script, from what I've heard, looks good. Okay. You know what doesn't look good? Did you guys see the leaks for Avengers Doomsday? It sounds like a giant sucking sound until the middle of Act 3, where you have the massive battle and Doom betrays everybody. Spoilers. But cellulose is a vegetable. You guys are crazy. Deeple has some Arizona beachfront property to sell me. Just inquire at my good friend Lex Luthor Real Estate. There you go. Look, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be headed out to Tennessee again sometime in September. So if you're along that route, whatever you want to call it, if you're along that, I'll be traveling primarily the 40, the 77, and something else. But I'll be passing through Oklahoma again, and some of the other states in betwixt, New Mexico, the top part of Texas. And the goal is to do that trip in 2 days, meet with the real estate agent, set up to do a purchase, and go from there. So, wish me luck. Cash Kester in the house. Yo, what's up, smoking man? Are you going to be in Vegas, bro? Hope so. Wait until those IMAX projectors overheat. Yeah, they're toast. The fans will demand a refund and take it out on both the movie and Sony. That's true. Literally, the sprockets are breaking off of those projectors. That's a problem. Snowdub says, Culture can drive north. Can't seem to drive south. Well, my cabin's up north. South is tough. Plus, you have unsolved kidnappings like Nancy Guthrie, which we talked about during the show, Snowdub. Critizable, the Rainbow Knight. Says, Wicker. Watch Wicker trailer. Do it. I dare you. I will. Just won't do it on the show. Yep. Yipper. Who else is out there? Some French people make their mayonnaise on the fly before they use it. It's not that hard nor long to make. No, that's true. Might as well make mayo fresh. Should do it. Do it. Tennessee waits. I love Tennessee. Pops, what's up? Pops, I saw I got served up in my feed. I think you were talking to Loki. Thank you for that. Pop says so many of the leaks were correct about Spidey, so there's no reason to think Doomsday leaks are false. Oh yeah, I think we have the script. So seems like a complicated mess too much for normies. I think it's a complicated mess too much for fans. I think those of us have been embedded in comics for so long are going to be so tired of the storytelling. I don't know. All right, what else we got? Saw a hottie shake her own butter in a few sweaty minutes. Still have flashbacks. Tobach, that's not appropriate. Hey, Queen Glamazona. Zona is here. Hi, Culture. I hope you're feeling well today. I'm feeling fantastic. Thank you, Queen Glamazona. The Delaware beer drinker. What's up, Fred? It's been a minute. Cheers to you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh, wait. Cash is like, I'm already here. All right. You and Joker voice. By the way, I can't. Somebody needs to remind me where I can find Joker voice because he's asked me several times to come visit him at his workplace. I got to do that, and I don't. Yeah. So right now, the place I was staying is in flux. So I may be finding a place to stay on the road. That's wild. At least for this Vegas trip. So that'll be crazy. WJB Daily says, good luck, Culture. Ask and ye shall receive. I always do. Queen Glamazona says, you have such a pleasant voice. Well, thank you. Well, thank you very much. CC to Tennessee is Florida's loss. Yeah. Look, Florida was in the running. But the real estate that I want, which is near Claremont, that's Central Florida. It's near Disney World. That's not, when I say near, it's like 35 minutes away. It's far enough out, but the land is getting bought up by developers, and I don't want to be encroached upon by HOA-controlled garbage that are going to be whining about the smells at my land, or even the sounds. So, because I'm going to enforce quite a bit of quiet in my area. So, yeah. Leif Erickson is out there. Good morning, Culturians. Good morning to you. Look at all these wonderful friends. Gojira Star. Hello, CC. And chat listening in the background. Well, thank you, friend. I should have been a disc jockey. Well, I'm going to tell a story someday. I have a real radio voice I can pull out if you want. No spoilers, please. Seeing it tomorrow. Hey, John Taylor, let me tell you something. Not going to spoil anything. I'm not. All right, I did a spoilerish, mild spoiler review, stuff that people already knew, basically from the trailers. So if you want to watch that review, it's mostly safe. Doesn't break anything down. The problem is the trades kind of hosed over the film. And that's really super disappointing because you had an opportunity to surprise everybody, give somebody something they hadn't seen before, and they blew it. Ugh. So, yeah. I won't do that to you, John. Yeah. I won't do it. Snowdub is cynical out there saying kidnapping was a scam. Just wanted her mother gone. LOL. I don't know about that. Just pretty wild. This is a great question, Queen Glamazona. I will say this. I did think after that molting scene that we might get we might get the man spider. It was weird. For a moment, that molting scene ended, and that ended very weirdly. Not gonna spoil anything. Yeah. Yeah, Gojira Star says, good luck at buying property. That's right. I just need land. I'm a simple man. I just need the land. Because I can build. I can design, build, submit for my own permits, builder financing, the whole nine. And I'm going to secure it with money and property. So. Oh, I love coffee. Radio voice, showtime with culture. All right. Eric K says, I'll see what I can do about Vegas play. Maybe I can get a 2-bedroom. Well, You don't do that on my account, friend, if you don't have to. I mean, I can couch surf if need be. We'll see. I still think there's a chance. My good friend Paulie, otherwise known as Latino Slant. Guys, Paulie, with his team, wrote a book you're going to want to check out. It's a travel guide on cinema. You're going to want to check it out. It's available as an ebook on, I think, Kindle. Paul, if you want to throw that in the chat, you can, brother. But seeing Spider-Man a third time tomorrow night. See? People who love movies love movies. 3 Yukon Gold potatoes, 2 sweet potatoes, 1 large turkey, half breast, and a package of beach mushrooms in my crock pot for lunch today. Oh, that sounds so good. The real surprise, $1 billion opening. It was so close. 927 millions. Millions. And look, universally, with some exception, not a lot, the fans of Spider-Man were loving the film. Truly. Leif Erickson says, hopefully one day we get a Man-Spider versus Venom. Would be so sweet. I could see that actually happening, to be fair. Michael reminds me that Tennessee has lots of rivers. Lots. Yeah, they do. And you know what? They got great water. I can't believe it. Every time I go through there, it doesn't matter what part, right? And look, I mean, I love Nashville. I'm not going to go to the Nashville area. First of all, it's too city. I need a little more country. I need like the feeling of driving downtown to the barber shop. That's what I need. And I go into town once a week kind of feeling. That's the area I'm looking for. And I'd love to be on some water. But more than anything else, I want to be on some land with some grade on it. So that way I can plant all my crops and my animals and pastures and everything else. I can plant everything. So the house sits up front. There's a little market garden stand that's in front of that. There's an off to the right side of the properties where the studio facilities are going to be with its own driveway, its own little parking area and everything. And then people who want to do independent creation can do it. And they have a space to do it. And there's no barrier of entry because I'm going to slowly build that up and replace it for them. That means there'll be high quality editing equipment, there'll be high quality audio equipment, et cetera, et cetera. All secured by Smith & Wesson. Oh, and Glock. Read by nature. Hey, Culture and Company. Hey, Reed. So, who else is out there? We got another super duper chat from our pal, our buddy, Latino Slant, Paulie. Paulie's working hard, guys. You need to check out his channel. You're going to get an amazing set of opinions from incredible creators. Says the Latino Film Travel Guide, Volume 1. There it is. That's right, 2023-2024. Ebook for sale now. There it is, guys. Go check it out. Thank you, Paulie. You didn't have to use a super chat to do that. I appreciate you, brother. But you should check it out. It's not very expensive. Paulie's giving it for okay, a little more than free. But it's pretty cheap. Do check it out. Thank you, Paulie. You are a good friend. I appreciate you. Everybody who hasn't joined Criticlist, that's right. I'm going to get back to writing reviews over there. Right now, I'm struggling for time, guys. I'm just going to be honest. It takes a lot. Glamazona says, Queen Glamazona says, I only managed to stay awake through Brand New Day once. Oh, that's a little rough. But all films are not for all people. So let's just be honest. And there's that. Stitch is here. What's up, Stitch? The Elder here. Good morning, Ms. Pick Cafe. Bill Blum, what's up? Tennessee doesn't have a bunch of lakes. One got created when New Madrid went boom. Well, it's got a lot of water, and I'm going to be near, I want to be near the Tennessee River. It's big. It's a lot of water moving at decent speed. But yeah, I mean, if I have a creek on my property, it's good enough. Because I'll divert it. I'll dam it a little and divert it, and maybe even create a micro hydro on property. So there's that. Tiarna is in the house. Hello, Culture. The reviews are in, and the Slantino Familia is showing out. 5-star praise on Amazon for Latino Film Travel Guide. That's right. Go check it out. Volume 1 available now. There are more volumes planned, according to Polly the other day, so do check that out. Culture tortures barbers because he never goes. Well, actually headed to the barber, I think, tomorrow. Yeah, so there's that. Look, one of the reasons I like to go to the barber, especially for a hot shave, and by the way, that's why I go to the barber. I don't get my hair cut a whole lot, not regularly. It's a once a year process. They're usually for a hair donation, right? I'm going to this barber that I use for the last hair donation and shave. And the reason that I get a hot shave is because it'll last 2 or 3 days. When you have a beard like mine that's coarse as sandpaper in about 10 minutes after you shave, a hot shave changes that. It brings all of the follicles right to the surface. So when you use a straight raver and a hot shave, I don't have to shave for 2 or 3 days. I like that. When I go on a cruise, like on a cruise ship, I'll always book a hot shave and a manicure maybe. I know that I know some people are going to go, you get manicures? Well, I have dragon nails. Otherwise, I chew them. I chew my fingernails, and that's a bad habit. Don't do that, especially if you're a gardener. Yikes! All right, look at all these great people in the chat. The chores, fresh air. I can't wait. Yeah, nothing like Bel Air. That's right. I miss. I missed simple. I want to get back to simple. What are you doing today? I'm planting potatoes. What are you doing today? I'm planting onions. What are you doing today? I'm planting garlic. I mean, the list is infinite for me. Right now, I planted the seeds, the heirloom tomato seeds that I got when I was traveling to Tennessee 2 times ago from the Amish community, which is not really, they're not really Amish. They're Mennonite. They're Amish-ish, I guess. But the Mennonite community, and I planted those heirlooms, and every one of them came up. That doesn't happen. So I've got all these seedlings. So I'm rebuilding the entire tomato planter box. You guys are going to see that on that channel, on the that Garden Place channel. I'm going to rebuild that whole thing. And it's going to be 25, 26 feet long, and it's going to be doubled up. So you'll have a tall side and a short side. So I get twice as much plant density in there. I'm going to grow bush tomatoes in the lower part, and in the upper part, I'm going to be growing the indeterminate tomatoes. So you have determinates, which are bush tomatoes, and you have indeterminate, which are vine tomatoes. So I'll be growing them that way. So there's that. Who else? Dengar Renegade. What's up, Dengar? I'm not going to lie. As a Star Wars fan, listen to people talk about Spider-Man. I'm just like, will Star Wars fans ever have that experience again? Not as long as Disney owns it. Not as long as Disney owns it. Pam Epson in the house all the way from across the pond, sending me love. Thank you, dear. Hope you're doing well. I hope everything over there is going well. Did temperatures come down in the UK? I know there's several of you from the UK right now. I hope you guys aren't cooking still, because you had a couple of days for you guys that was uncomfortable. For us, though, in the desert Southwest, that's every day. We don't have quite the humidity, but hot's just hot, you know. Yeah. We got a great bunch of folks here. All right, we got more stories. Hang on. Somebody said something about, I saw Chattanooga. Bill Blum says the only lakes other than the one that New Madrid created are man-made. TVA. That's right. Tennessee Valley Authority created a bunch of them, including the pumped storage just west of Chattanooga and the big dam in Chattanooga. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And look, I mean, I'm going to have my own little water control district. I'm not going to rob any water from the watershed. Okay. I am going to collect rainwater too. I'm going to do that from every single roof of every single outbuilding, studio building. I do believe in using what's provided from above. So there's that. Knoxville's beautiful. There's a lot of great places in Tennessee. All right, let's keep going. We got more. I got to get to some of these. This other story I want to get to. Hopefully, some of you guys have some comment on it. Hang on. John Taylor says fall crops. That's right. Yeah. So there. Okay. So I'm planting wheat twice this year. The fall planting is an experiment. The spring planting won't be. And we'll see what happens. But I'm going to be growing my own ancient grain wheat. Coruscant is what it's called. Sounds like a planet for Star Wars, right? It's not a Coruscant. It's Coruscant. And it's an ancient grain. It is more buttery, and it's a darker color than normal wheat berries. Very easy to sow. Be planting that. And I'm going to be planting over 50 fruit trees that I'm going to take with me when I move. That way I get a jump start on the orchard. And I get a chance to do my own stock. Because you'll find that you grow a very hardy rootstock, and then when you graft in, other trees from things that don't have nearly the kind of disease resistance, or they don't have the ability to shed fungal issues or nematodes or anything. If you use the hardiest stock and then you graft into them, you usually have a higher success rate. So that's why I'm going to start all my trees now. Take them with me. Okay, let's get to the story. This is a good one. And this is something that shouldn't surprise anybody. And if you're a Star Wars fan, I apologize, right? Because we've got good news here. We've got good news to talk about. We don't get that very often, but let's jump into another bonus story. Our friends over at Cosmic Book News have a story about Spider-Man Brand New Day beating all of James Gunn's DC movies combined in one weekend. Of course, Matt McGloin wrote this probably for revenge. I don't know, but at least a solid coverage about the fact that the Gunn movies aren't doing quite as well as you would have hoped. The Superman movie, it wasn't even Man of Tomorrow, it was just the Superman movie, did okay. I think a little over $600 million. It was a passable film, but it had plenty of problems. Now, mind you, there's still some issues with Spider-Man, but it had plenty of problems. Then you had Supergirl, also no bueno. You got Clayface coming out, which is a body horror film. I'm just feeling like maybe the slate of superhero films for DC wasn't very well thought out. Of course, you have Spider-Man here in the center. You got Supergirl and Superman's. And, one weekend of Spider-Man beats these other films. The Web Slinger blew past Supergirl in a single day. Remember that? I reported that. I think I put it on X as well. And by the time the weekend wraps, Gunn's Superman and the Suicide Squad were in the rearview mirror as well. What does that tell you? Is there a lack of appetite for superhero films? Do we have really superhero fatigue? I've been saying for a long time we have bad movie fatigue. I think Paulie and my friend Tom and many other folks would agree. We're tired of bad movies, hence the reason that when we do reviews, we call them out for what they are. I had a few reasons to call out Spider-Man, but not very many. And if you watch my review, you'll find that out. Now, there are mild spoilers in that review, I want to warn you. But if you do watch that, and that video is up there for you to watch, you'll find that mostly I'm positive. Because Spider-Man is delivering what fans want. That's something we haven't gotten out of superhero films in a long time. So here's the math. Gunn's Superman finished in its run with $354.2 million domestic, $264.5 international, for a combined $618.7 million worldwide. Now, Gunn cut and produced the Supergirl film. Now, that's an important distinction, because while he didn't necessarily make the movie, he's the one that controlled the cut, because he is the studio. He is the law. But anyway, so that film made a combined amount of money that was very disappointing. It had 71.9 million domestic, 53.8 million overseas for a combined 125.8 million. Not a good number. And if you go all the way back to 2021 with Gunn's self-eliminating squad, they managed a 55.8 million domestic and 122.9 million foreign for 168.7 million worldwide. And a lot of people are going to say, but wait, isn't that the global crisis era? Not if you look at a lot of other films that year that did well before it came out and did well after it came out. I'm not buying this hangover that people are trying to sell for 2021, but set that all aside. So if you add them all up, that came into a round total of 913.2 million worldwide. That is 3 movies across 5 years, and yet in just 5 days, one weekend, Spider-Man Brand New Day opened at 927 million globally, which is a number I dispute. I think it's going to go up a little bit, and I think that the domestic total is going to beat Avengers Endgame. So that's just my opinion. We'll see if that proves out over the next couple of days. But there's no such thing as superhero fatigue. I think you guys would agree. So every time a DC movie underperforms, the excuse machine fires up with the same old thing. And believe it or not, it actually started at Marvel. The idea that superhero fatigue existed was an explanation for why people weren't accepting the insertion of garbage into a just plain superhero storyline. You could call it the various swaps that have been made, or the insertion or forced insertion of certain concepts, ideas, and re-education situations. But at the end of the day, the films weren't successful. Not for any other reason than they weren't appealing films. Maybe they had some good elements. Maybe they were good to some extent. But a lot of people just kind of walked away. So it really is a myth, as Matt points out there. And the foreign fans just didn't show up with that combined $572 million. If you look at the rate of parody for superhero films, like right now when you look at Spider-Man Brand New Day, the numbers that are surprising is that normally in recent box office trends, we have a near parody. International is going to blow domestic out of the water with Spider-Man Brand New Day, especially over the long haul. And that's something that we had seen prior to bad superhero movies. You know, when after Endgame, all the phases of Marvel were hit and miss, mostly miss, especially the last phase going into the Fantastic Four. Once King Dynasty was off the table, they were in disarray. They didn't have a big bad to operate within, and they didn't have something for fans to look forward to. How they figured that Doom was going to rescue Marvel, I don't know, but I think they're going to find out that was a bad guess. So, again, Superman pulled only 42.7% from international markets. Brand New Day's debut got 61.7% in international. That's amazing. 40% domestic. The near parity numbers or below parity numbers coming out of Supergirl, Superman, and anything else tell you that the films are not performing well to the broadest audience. Americans might go to films just out of entertainment purposes alone. They're not going there for the quote-unquote messaging, and international audiences are tiring of it faster than maybe we are here in the States. It's just not going to get displayed in China. They just don't do it at all. Of course, the Batman excuse is there. He doesn't have a Batman to play with. Well, he knew that going in, and he praised Matt Reeves for his Batman. I don't think the Batman was all that good. A lot of people were praising it. I was like, it's a Batman movie, and it's boring. And it really is. And the second one's not going to be any less boring. So the Batman Part 2 got pushed all the way out to February 2028. Gunn probably won't be at Warner Brothers after, well, this contract. That's why you don't have anything after Man of Tomorrow coming out. I think he already knows the writing's on the wall. He and Safran are probably going, well, we just need to set up for new movies. Maybe we run back to Marvel. Maybe they take us back. Hard to say. But the clock is definitely ticking on Gunn. And that was the whole point of this article, is that the Ellisons are going to take over and Gunn is going to be gone. And I don't think there's anything stopping that. If you think so, let me know in the comments section, and we will talk about it. But let's get back to you. All right. We had a super duper chat come through while I was yammering. Let's take a look at that because it was a gifty from Culture Sugar Daddy. My pal, my buddy, Tony Piacente with 5 Culture Casino memberships, helping the channel grow, getting us closer to the self-sustaining mechanism we need be. 1,000 members basically pays for everything, and that would be wonderful if we can get to 1,000 members. And I just want to say Latino Slant just was gifted a membership. So was Cynthia Kearns, Terry Rose, the investor, and Tivolti, or Tilavati, I don't know which, also. So excellent. And thank you to Tony Piacente. All right, let's see if we can get down to where you guys are chatting at me. Get rid of James Gunn. Well, Queen Glamazona, I think they are. Bonnie Gamester's here. Georgia Peach, saying hi to Georgia Peach. Commander Ed Straker Shadow is out there, who's here all the time. Low and slow. Let it flow. Let yourself go. Slow and low. That is the tempo. That's old school rap. Let it flow. Let yourself go. Slow and low. That is the tempo. Let it flow. Let yourself go. Anyway. Sorry, I'm ancient hip-hop. Isn't that every woman's dream? A sensitive man? Not sure. Well, I at times can be sensitive. Mostly, I'm likely bleeding because I'm working on something and didn't notice that I nicked myself. So, yeah. Culture Sugar Daddy, Tony Piacente says, R.I.P. MCU. Indeed. Jill Powers asks a question, why do their girl bosses always have to humiliate the heroes? I don't know. And this is the truth, John Taylor says. Just give us what we want, what we wait for, and not talk duty because we don't like it. Yeah, just give us what we want. And don't yell at us or call us names because we told you this is not what we want. How many times do we have to tell you this is not what we want for multiple phases? Good question. Put Yelena in Superman. Joseph, come on now. First of all, the actress, Florence Pugh, that plays Yelena. Good actress. Kind of pointless in this particular film. But again, no spoilers, so I'm not going to say anything else. But Yelena as a character got the most development across 2 films, Black Widow and what was that one where they became the new Avengers? Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts was a therapy session, and that's how the last several films for Marvel has come across as therapy. I don't think the therapy storyline is selling to the audience anymore. What do you guys think? You think I'm right? Think I'm wrong? You think I'm crazy? It's possible. I've been crazy before. And the Hulk did look amazing, so I will agree. Somebody who typed in all caps. Who else we got out there? Gollum's out there. What's up? Look at the people on the green machine. Tobak making fun of my comment about Amish-ish. Is that going to be my new channel? Comic nerds will do more word-of-mouth advertising. That's true. Than anything else. You got to cater to them, which is why the movie ultimately failed. Well, this one will do well. Superman didn't do well for the nerds. It's true. You're 100% right, Deeple. 100%. And look, Glamazona mentions in the chat just a few moments ago that Superman was nerfed. I call it nerfed. And that's because these people don't know how to deal with a moral character that has godlike powers, for lack of a better way to describing them, because they don't understand morals. Their moral structure is, what can I get away with? What will get me more power? That's why they can't relate. People who write good, powerful characters, they understand that. I for the longest time, believed that the reason Favreau's Iron Man was the best starting point for the what would eventually become the Marvel Cinematic Universe. First of all, you have to remember that was Paramount. Paramount took an awful risk on RDJ. RDJ had been in and out of rehab and all kinds of other trouble for a long period of time. And when you consider that as a factor in the conversation, you go, well, they risked a lot. They did it for a good reason. And I feel like the combination of Favreau and RDJ worked. They had a really easy shorthand. They both understood the character and where they were coming from with the character, and how RDJ has kind of helped insert his personality and quirks into a character that would work with. I've always thought RDJ is an incredible actor. He's actually a pretty amazing vocalist and musician. But at the same time, he has his flaws. Superheroes have flaws. They're going to struggle with things. Drinking, womanizing, stuff like that. Those are Tony Stark issues, right? I really appreciate the growth of the character just in the film, because he was humbled almost right away from being that billionaire philanthropist playboy, right? And put in a cave and forced to make weapons for, well, the purposes of fighting back against his weapons. So yeah, it's very strange. So that was a good starting point. It's a good story, satisfied comic fans and film fans alike. And I'm going to say it that way because films were more important back then. So this was before a lot of people would say that shows like Big Bang Theory and others kind of ruined geek culture by bringing people into it that didn't belong there. I understand that thought process. I do. But at the same time, it kind of works against itself. We'll talk about that sometime in another show. But it's good to see everybody out there. Sorry I went off for a little bit, but we are... Gojira Star says Thunderbolts was mid. What a way to introduce a powerful character. Again, they don't know how to do that. Let's do the darkest presentation. Let's go with the more degenerative, post-modern neo-Marxist take on a given character. Sentry. Crazy stuff. Lots of people out there. This is good stuff. Look at everybody. Juliet saying good evening to everybody. I keep forgetting in the UK it's like afternoon, evening. And we're getting into the best part of the day. Coffee. No title. Coffee. There you go. Look at all these great people saying hi to each other. Blade 1 and Blade 2 was great. Keith, you are right. And they recently in the MCU had to cancel Blade. Why? Because they wanted to add another she to the MCU. You know why Wesley Snipes wasn't going to do it. They knew he wasn't going to accept handing the mantle over to a fictional daughter character. Well, Marshall Ali, both he also resisted that because he knew it was going to destroy the character and destroy his reputation. Sorry, there are consequences to playing characters improperly. There are. You know, and the other thing is Blade has to be just absolutely a bad A. I'm going to say the word. but he has to be. And it's easy to make that movie. He just goes through mowing down vampires, right? You find a nest of vampires, mow them down. Use your daywalker stuff. Find another companion like Chris Christopherson to play off of. What's hard about that? Wesley Snipes is the only Blade because nobody else, I think, understands the character as well. Marshall Ali was going to take a swing at it, despite the fact that he's not exactly that much younger than Wesley Snipes. And I don't know. It's just, how do you... There's a reason why Kevin Feige feels like a loser. Because he is. He has destroyed every masculine character in favor of deconstruction and feminization of the MCU. And he didn't accomplish that with Blade. He even feminized Wolverine. And you can fight with me on that one if you want. Georgia Peach points out that Iron Man should be unlikable. Yeah, Tony Stark should be unlikable. But everybody in the audience end up loving him for all of his faults, which is why, Hollywood Reporter ran that article this last week. Bring back the Hollywood a whole. There's a reason for that. It worked. The producers, the filmmakers, the directors, the people involved in the background processes were not nice people. They weren't governed by the HR department the way they are now. And a lot of people say, well, because that wasn't good. For who? It was good for movies. It was good for entertainment. It wasn't good for some sad sack coming out of school thinking that, the world is fair and owes everything to them. Their entitled degree entitled them to being free from criticism and scrutiny. And life isn't fair. What's the one thing that they stopped teaching in college? Life isn't fair. And the whole reason you go to college isn't to learn much. Because honestly, the information you're learning, you can regurgitate. Unless you're in a specialty field. And again, this is where I give college its props. If you're going to be a doctor or a dentist, somebody important, a brain surgeon, whatever, specialty, engineer, civil engineers especially. Yeah, I want you to know your stuff. But we've had H-1B visa people being imported over into the U.S. from other countries that have fake degrees and have been doing these jobs. So, put the brakes on some of that. I'm just going to say that sometimes when the qualification is a piece of paper, it's unwarranted. And sometimes merit is more important than anything, especially on-the-ground experience, institutional knowledge, and memory. Companies that get rid of those things often suffer down the road and become more of a toxic culture than they were before. Practical understanding of the things around you when doing a discipline, a job, whatever, is important, especially if you've been through this before. The best place to look would be organizations like AA. Because the people that work their way through that organization have worked through the steps and worked to mentor other people to go through that. They understand at a fundamental level what it takes to get out of that hole. And that old joke goes back for forever. Guys down in a hole. A businessman walks by. He yells up, "Hey, can you help me get out?" The guy draws him a plan, sends it down. A doctor walks by. The guy says, "Hey, can you get me out of the hole?" Doctor writes a prescription. And this goes on. A lot of people walk by the hole, and they give the person that's stuck in the hole nothing they need. And then a good friend walks by. He says, hey, can you help me out? And that friend jumps in the hole with him. And he says, well, hey, now we're both stuck in the hole. He says, yeah, but I've been down in this hole before, and I know the way out. It's a good story about friendship, mentorship, and an understanding of I've been there before. Inside organizations, you need those people. Inside houses of education, finance, etc., you need those people. Somebody that survived the war, which is why I think Tolkien's books resound so well across time with so many people. Because those were recovery books for Tolkien. You know, drawing people into an understanding of a new mythology that he developed. All describing the horrors of war and how people get caught up in it. And ultimately how to get out of it. Conquering evil and what kind of sacrifice that takes. Anyway, you can agree with me, you don't have to, but there's that. Just try to catch up with you. Teodorna asks, does Blade really matter? I think so. As a comic book hero, sure, as much as the Punisher does, as far as I'm concerned. Again, that's my perspective. You don't have to agree with me. And you can enjoy or not enjoy the version of the Punisher that Barenthal plays in the Spider-Man movie. But I rather enjoyed this version that he plays in the Spider-Man film, but I also equally enjoyed the version he played in the Netflix series. Not so much anything Disney. Caveat Ties is painting. Well, no, I'm just glad you're here. Yeah, and Siege Perilous is correct. The industry is long forgotten. You should not mess with characters, as it can permanently damage them. And that's the thing. Spider-Man, consistently, across 3 actors and decades of my life, has stayed fairly consistent. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Miles Morales is Miles Morales. And if they try to pass the mantle, as has been suggested a few times, they're playing with fire. Leave those 2 characters separate. You're better for it. You have an audience for each. Don't try to mix them. That's been the biggest problem. I think it was the biggest. I think it was the biggest folly of Snyder on his way out the door was to mix and match some characters that didn't belong together. That and using an hour and a half of slow motion, and basically black and white. I again, dour tones. I'm tired of. We're tired of dystopian worlds. Anything that's bright and colorful and has a positive, happy ending, Spider-Man Brand New Day, despite its grown-up, gritty maturity, I hate that word. That's the media word for that film is it's a more mature, the minute you see that, you know that's a tool. But, you know, in some ways it was a little more mature. But the maturity came out of the understanding that Peter grew up and understood that the world isn't fair and that what had existed before never would again. And I think a lot of us maybe have already started to do that with the broader Marvel, which is why everything after Phase 3 has been widely rejected and is going to continue to be rejected, with a few exceptions, notable ones like Deadpool and Wolverine, right? So Feige needs to get out of his current mindset, or they're done. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put up a poll on the tube side of the equation. I'm going to start a poll. And I'm going to ask, should we move the High Rollers stream to a day other than Saturday. Boom. Yes or no? Starting a poll. So if you're a high roller, obviously this is more weighs in on you, but there's that. Timmy! What's up, Timmy? Timmy Hayes! I got a +1 for some reason. It's probably somebody looking for the goal. Let's see. I think I missed some super chats, guys. Member chats. I'm going to get to them. Hang on. Let me get to you guys. I just want to say thanks again to Tony Piacente, Ruby Hoove, anybody that gifted a membership. You guys are amazing. We added a member, Shannon White, thanks to Ruby Hoove. So thank you for that. Let's go to regular show all. Let's see if we can celebrate. Nope. I think we got this one. From G.J. Jensen, G.J. Jensen, celebrating 8 months of membership. Thank you for that. All right, back to comments. Ta-da! I didn't set any goals today, so there's that. Donovan Bradford says the thing with Miles Morales is the younger generations are really enjoy him. They aren't at the point of being consumers yet. I hear kids love the character, but are well off from buying. There you go. There you go. Zen Wookie says no, but it may have worked out better as a mentoring instead of trying to replace Peter. Well, again, I have no problem with the two of them existing separately. This last Spider-Verse movie that's going to be coming out, it is going to need to turn my head. Otherwise, I'm going to walk out of the Spider-Verse and just be done. So there's that. All right, let's grab this from Culture Sugar Daddy, our wonderful Tony Piacente for 5 Culture Casino cash, saying DEI's knee. Needs to get rid of Feige and put Favreau in charge of Marvel. Wow. Well, if only they'd done that with Star Wars, I think we'd have a lot more future for Star Wars than Filoni Baloney, who only knows how to really do animation, which is why his live action stuff is so juvenile. I think Starfighter is going to be the last chance. I think Ryan Gosling's the last chance. And if it brings in Ray, I think it's toast. But as far as bringing in Favreau, there's a guy that understands. Truly beginning to end. And look, for as much as I give Gunn a wave of garbage, I'll just say this. He's the one that kind of laid out what the phases would look like going into Endgame. And he laid out the cosmic phases, which Disney strayed away from. The King situation really screwed them up. They thought they had a plan. They didn't. Quantum Mania was a mess. What a disaster. Tennessee produces more freshwater pearls than any other state in the union, says WJB Daily. Excellent. 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 Our good friend Cat Slave says, sorry I'm late. You weren't late. You arrived just in time. Do you remember when they made a Miles Morales burger at Burger King? I do not, Queen Glamazona. Wolfman says, I think it was red and blue. What? How do you make a red and blue? Is that like the buns? Huh. Commander and Striker's Shadow makes a good point. You can have dystopian worlds, but have heroic characters who are hopeful and fight to make the world universe better. Yeah, you could do that. Superman, the original, way back, 78? The Donner Superman, with Reeves in it, or excuse me, Christopher Reeve, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, you had the downtrodden New York. What is that? That would work. Rumble needs to add polls and subscriber rants. I agree with that. That's something you can send them. Truly. I think I am gonna work with Morgan King. Reach out to Morgan King, try to figure out how to get on Kick or one of those other things. I'm not doing Twitch again, though. It's so toxic and oriented around half scantily clad ladies. I'm tired of that stuff. Ryan Gosling's like, only due to Ryan Gosling. Well, we'll have to see. Do you think he can save Star Wars? He's going to be Ghost Rider? Investing an awful lot of money into Ryan Gosling. He's only going to cost Disney more money down the road, so... This is the problem. The old studio system would lock in stars with a given studio. Is that what Disney's trying to do again? I tell you what, Disney is going to do something that Warner Brothers isn't, which is pay Gosling. Warner Brothers is not going to pay Gosling or Margot Robbie what they're worth for Barbie 2. I don't think that deal gets done. I don't. At least not until they replace Sosol. This is the thing I think Gavin Newsom understands. Warner Brothers Discovery disappears without Paramount Skydance. Of course, it also would have disappeared under Netflix. And we've already had a studio disappear, MGM, into a tech company. Netflix isn't really an entertainment company. They're a tech company. You need a movie company to take over Warner Brothers Discovery. Don't forget, youth is wasted on the young. True story. All right, speaking of which, we got to get out of here, folks. We got in 20 minutes, Midnight's Edge in the morning, which is where I'll be talking about the box office. And then after that, I'll be headed over to That Park Place Live to talk about whatever's going on in the world. And then I'm going to start recording videos for this week. So, yeah. Will Paramount be able to pay Gosling for Barbie 2? I think it's Warner Brothers. But I don't think they're going to pay him. Pretty sure it's Warner Brothers Discovery. Could be wrong. All right. Let me get out of here, folks. I just want to say thank you to everybody. It was great to see you all. Deeple, Ms. Pick Cafe, Tobach, everybody on the green machine, including Caveat Ties, Cat Slave. Those of you over on the tube, we've got Georgia Beach, WJB Daily, Wolfman, Ms. Pick Cafe, of course, everywhere. Project Cambrian, good to see you, buddy, and many more. Isn't Paramount buying Warner Brothers Discovery? Yes, they are. The question is, will Robbie and Gosling still be available to star in Barbie 2 at that point, I think. So, yeah, that was a good point. You are correct. All right, on that note, wait, we got a member chat. Barry the Music Man celebrating a month. Thank you, friend. Says, Spider-Man had the best emotional story Marvel has seen in a long time. Best since Uncle Ben died. Indeed. And you know what? The Aunt May dying story was pretty emotional, too. This was the one that hit home in a way that hasn't in a long time. So, on that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya. I think with a little hobo Gandalf.